Wait, come on, let's go. You just can see that she hops more than separates and runs, you know, and you can just sort of see that she's in a bit of pain. Let's just, come on, come here.
Brooklyn is just a year old, but she's already battling debilitating arthritis in her hips and back legs.
She struggles with stairs, even just in and out of the car. There's a bit of a struggle.
She can't get into the car.
Yeah.
And then when she gets out, she kind of waits, like, for you to kind of give her a little bit of support.
Go on, get in there.
The only reason she can move around now is daily painkillers.
She looks like she's a 90-year-old woman. Look at that. She's got no strength there.
Ollie and Sasha have arranged to meet up with their friend, emergency vet Lisa Chimes, for advice.
My concern is that Brooklyn's got something called hip dysplasia, so it's a genetic problem. They're born with it. It is so much worse than you described. I honestly am shocked. A hip should be a ball and socket, and in Brooklyn's case, I fear that her socket is underdeveloped, so the ball doesn't sit in the socket, it slips out every time she walks. It's not a curable disease, so we have to do pretty drastic surgeries to fix it.
Okay, come on, here you go.
So what we need to do now is get Brooklyn over to Sash, get the surgeons to have a look at her and take some x-rays to see exactly what's going on. My worry is that there's going to come a time, which is going to be pretty soon, where she's going to be so crippled that she won't even be able to get up.
Yeah, she's certainly very under-muscled.
Ollie and Sasha have brought Brooklyn in to see specialist surgeon Andrew Marchevsky.
Okay, you're all right. Good girl.
The French Mastiff is only a year old, but already crippled with painful arthritis in her hips and back legs.
So this is her hip joint, right? So it's a ball and socket joint, and what her hip at the moment is, it's sitting out there, and every time she walks, it's just crunching against the edge, and she's getting lots of arthritis from that. So from what you're telling me and looking at her x-rays, I think a hip replacement will make a huge difference to her.
For such a young dog, a total hip replacement is a major operation.
If we do nothing, she might be able to live for a few years, but it might be only 4 or 5 rather than 8 or 9 or 10. So I think it's also quality of life and quantity of life.
It's better to know now. I think we've tried to kid ourselves for a while, just going, oh, it's not that bad.
It's not good that she's just constantly rubbing bone on bone when she walks. She hides it well.
It's expensive, it's invasive, and there is the potential for things to go wrong. All right, come on, you with me.
Brooklyn will be the first hip replacement ever performed at Sash. Everybody has a lot at stake.
I do feel almost a sense of fear and you know, a sense of responsibility that if something does go wrong, and I've kind of pushed them to be proactive about it, you know, it's not risk-free, and we just have to keep our fingers crossed that she's in the successful group.
I'm getting nervous now.
The surgical team is preparing for Brooklyn's hip replacement.
So my incision's here.
Yeah, it's a little tense, absolutely. There's a lot to gain and there's a bit to lose. And I think because this is Sash's first one, it's exciting. First incision.
This is major surgery for a 1-year-old dog.
It's a ball and socket joint we're replacing, and the cup is the socket part of that joint.
Okay, and you'll be able to tell me if I'm getting in. Ready?
In human terms, it would be the same as a complete hip replacement for a 14-year-old.
We're putting a metal rod down the middle of the thigh bone that's then going to attach to part of the ball and socket joint to make up the hip. So we'll push it down and just hammer it in and it'll stay there. The biggest problem with this part of the procedure is us actually splitting the bone. And if we do that, that's a major problem. Try that.
Yes. Position looks good.
Overall, I think it went well.
Nice. It's perfect canal fill.
We had a few hiccups. This is our first one, and I sort of half expected it wasn't going to go perfectly. It was a little frustrating.
The biggest threat now is an infection setting in around the implants. It will be 2 months before Andrew can tell if Brooklyn will make a complete recovery.
It is high stress because the implants themselves are $2,500 worth of just the implants. It's high stakes.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous to see her. I'm just worried that she's in pain or that she's not really sure what's going on.
There you go, darling. It's all right.
The next day, Ollie and Sasha visit the hospital's very first hip replacement patient.
Brooklyn is doing really well. 24 hours post-op, she's using the leg. She's tentative on it, but she doesn't have any major problems. Who's that? Hello, darling. You're a good girl. Sasha looked a little gobsmacked. I don't think she realised exactly what was going to happen. I think she saw the size of the incision and was a bit, oh. All right, sweet, come on then. We'll get you back.
1 more week and Brooklyn will be ready to go home.
If she were a human, she'd still be in bed, or if she wasn't in bed, she'd be on crutches and really hobbling in a hell of a lot of pain. I'd see my father-in-law go through it, and she's doing much better. Good girl.
Come on, you want a stick?
2 months later, and it's a great result for Brooklyn as she runs and plays pain-free.
She's just never tired and never sore. It's really, really amazing.
Oh, she feels so much more developed in her muscles and she just looks great.
You see her now and then you realise how bad it actually was for her, yeah. Definitely stoked we did that, you know.
She is our first hip replacement and it's successful and everybody's happy, so it's something that the surgeons can be really proud of.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny Dusek from Bondi Vet. If you love our show and want to see more, plus some amazing content about pets and how to care for them, hit the subscribe button. Click that little notification bell and we'll see you on our next video.